from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, autumn-based beings, it's time for a cornucopia of lulls, patrons, that you make possible. It's time for Sleep With Me podcast to put you to sleep. Hey, Mrs. Scoots, this is a autumnal seasonal favorite from a few years back, and this is just an episode that's popular with a lot of listeners, so in case you missed it, here it is. It's got a little bit of personal essay, a little bit of catalog reading, and a whole lot of Vanderbeek, so I hope you enjoy. And we're able to make new seasonal episodes based on the support on the show. So everybody that supports the show on Sleep With Me Plus or Apple Podcasts or somewhere else supports the sponsors, spreads the word about the show. Be sure to let me know so I can thank you, because it really would not be possible without your support to make this podcast. So be sure, if I haven't thanked you already, send me a message through the contact form on our website, or if you're on Sleep With Me Plus, you should have got a video when you signed up, but if not, you could contact me the same way. Thanks, and here's Scoots.
Decisions.
Wait a minute. Are you still looking for cars on Carvana?
Yeah, decisions.
When I used Carvana, I found the exact car I was looking for in minutes. Bought it on the spot.
Electric or full diesel? Decisions.
Come on, you've been at it for weeks. Just buy it already.
You're right. Crossover it is. Decisions decided.
Whether you know exactly what you want or like to take your time, buy your car the convenient way with Carvana.
All right, everybody, it's Scoots here. This is a part of the podcast where I talk about Sleep With Me Plus. And now, as many of you know, the podcast business has changed, and we really count on listener support to keep the show going. But right now, I'm just talking to one listener, and maybe that's you. Maybe you're nodding your head. Maybe you're leaning forward, but you're paying attention to what I'm saying. And if that's a yes, and then do you listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis? Is that a yes? Does Sleep With Me make your life better? Does it put a smile on your face? And you feel like Sleep With Me makes your nights better so your days can be better. I want to ask you if you could support the show. Like, would you give up something disposable or some small luxury or some other streaming service that you don't use as much to support something that means something to you? So if you're still listening to me and you're hearing me, and if you're in a position where you could support, I'd love for you to join Sleep With Me Plus. And so it's a question of getting a hold of that one person, like, that is listening. That's been the biggest thing I didn't realize until this month is like, oh, most people understandably just aren't listening to me and hearing me. They believe all the other stuff, but maybe they're not going to hear this message. So I need a person that's hearing me that believes in the show to support it. So if that's you, don't wait. Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, because when you sign up to support the show, you're saying, yes, I was listening, Scoots. I heard you, and this podcast is important to me, and I want it to be around for me and everybody else that listens. You're that one person who wants to make a difference. Please sign up for Sleep With Me Plus right now. You already value the show. It's already changed your life. I just got to get through to you. So thanks so much. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Remember, you could also get access to Sleep With Me Plus by referring people to free podcasts. You sign up for our referral program at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. You get a unique link. You share that on a regular basis. And then you get rewarded with months of Sleep With Me Plus. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, things you're thinking about on your mind, that you say thoughts, feelings. So anything you're feeling physically, thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, changes in time or temperature. I'm going to go off topic and get mixed up for sure. And so those are a couple things. I already got mixed up, actually. I was thinking about something else popped in my brain, interrupted. This lulling, soothing thing interrupted. I'm not even kidding. I was I'll apologize to everybody listening. I have no idea what just, like I know what happened. I don't think I was dialing it in. My brain was telling me about this other thing I got. It started talking to me while I was talking. So it was telling me, hey, don't you have to do this later? And I apologize mainly for listening to it instead of saying, excuse me, I'm in the middle of recording an intro. I mean, I did realize that whenever I just went off topic, I said, excuse me, Scoots, I don't even know where you're not paying attention to what you're doing here. And that's really my most important job. I'm going to restart the intro, but just in case you're new, I apologize every once in a while because I get, just like everybody, I get distracted. So this is a safe place. I'm here to take your mind off stuff and put you to sleep, but in a very indirect way. So whatever's keeping you awake, I'm going to try to take your mind off of that, like I said, whether it's thoughts, feelings, or physical sensations. Obviously, I had some thoughts. They weren't even that intense. It was just like some part of my judgmental planning brain. The old JPB, judgmental's just one word. The JPB. It put out an APB for my attention. But so there's thoughts, feelings, physical sensations keeping you awake. I'm going to take your mind off of that so you can fall asleep. And the way I do it is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones. Hopefully I restarted the intro in the right place because I really don't know. So interesting. I mean, when we're in a neutral place like I am now, I can say, wow, we're really, you can be really distracted and have no idea where you are, even in a podcast you've recorded over 1,000 times. And that's okay. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. I'm saying, that's interesting. Like I was in a bit of a fog. I wasn't in a fog, though. I guess that's the only way to describe it. I was totally paying attention to someone else. My JPB brain. It was like I kind of said, I guess I'm repeating myself, but I said, okay, so what are we going to do about it? Because, okay, I'll even be more frank with you. There's an episode that was recorded that I was unhappy with the results. And so I said, what am I going to do about this? This was not in the moment, though. This is just on my general board of things to think about. And for some reason, my JPB brain said, oh, perfect. Now that can I have your attention for a few minutes? This is the perfect time for us to discuss this. And I fell, the funniest thing is I fell for it. Like instead of saying, could you wait till later when we're like walking the dog or trying to fall asleep? I said, nah, let's just talk about this now. I got a great idea. I've been thinking, we got to think about this because it's unresolved. And I understand that part of you, JPB Brain. You want things to be resolved, but sometimes things have to wait, and that's can be tough. I'm here to keep you company, too, until the point when we have an opening in the schedule, which is probably at least 3 weeks away, to get that taken care of. So let's try to look at that in 2.5 weeks, okay? So if you're new here, though, so I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. Now, a few things to know from a lot of input I've gotten or feedback over the years. If you're skeptical or doubtful, that totally makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you be? If somebody's telling you they're going to put you to sleep and take your mind off stuff, of course you'd be skeptical or doubtful. So that's one thing I say, well, that makes a lot of sense that you're skeptical or doubtful because, yeah, what am I saying? I'm going to put you to sleep? That doesn't make any sense. Or you've tried other things, or you're like, this guy's just talking? Did he just apologize to his brain? Was he was in a fugue? He may have been in a fugue. I wasn't in a fugue state. It just feels like a fugue state. There's also a part of me that's like trying to come up with excuses and metaphors at the same time. And I applaud that. I know. So this is a podcast. It's very different. That's what I was saying. It takes 2 or 3 tries normally to get used to the show because of 2 things. This is a podcast you don't really listen to. You just to kind of barely pay attention. Or you listen to it in a loose, almost passive way, like a TV coming through the walls. Or like a radio broadcast you could just barely hear, carrying across a river or something. So that's one thing. It's a podcast you barely listen to. Also does not put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company, and then all of a sudden you wake up tomorrow or you fall asleep. So I'm just here to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your boar cuz, your boar bestie, your neighbor, or your boarber. I guess your boarber would be, who cuts your hair? Well, my boarber. Whatever it is, I'm here to keep you company while you drift off, to take your mind off whatever's keeping you awake. So that can also take some getting used to. But that's also why the show's over an hour, is so you have plenty of time to fall asleep. I'm going to be here to keep you company whether you're awake or asleep. So if you can't sleep for whatever reason, I'm here for you. I'm here to barely keep you entertained. So those are 2 things that can throw new people off. What else can throw people off? Structure of the show. But more importantly is why I make the show. I make it twofold. One, I have all those things, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, waking up or whatever, all that stuff. So I know how it feels. And if I can help alleviate some of that dread or bedtime anxiety, that would be my honor. But I also truly believe you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you can rest, where you could get comfortable and you could fall asleep so that you could be rested tomorrow to live your life. That is very, very important. And if you can be in a place where you have some more resources tomorrow, and then you start to have a bedtime routine and more resources, and you can flourish, that is a good thing. That is makes our world a better place to live in. Your world's better. My world's better. Everybody's world's better when you're flourishing or just rested. So that's important to me. So that's why I make the show. Been there, and I know you deserve something, some place of comfort. And if this podcast doesn't work for you, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. You can find out more. So those are 2 things. Oh, the other thing that could throw new people off is the structure of the show. So let me run through that. This show has a very different structure than other podcasts. Starts off with a greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so you feel seen and welcomed in. Pretty important for a sleep podcast. Then there's support, listener support and resources. And then there's a support for the show via Patreon and sponsors. Then there's the intro, and the intro is different than those 2 things. The intro is really a show within a show where I try to explain what the podcast is, and then I am unsuccessful and I go off topic, or in this case, I was already distracted, and I was in a state that was similar to a fugue state, but not a fugue state because I was talking, and I wasn't in some general ether. I was having a conference call with part of my brain. So, like most of the intros, you say, how come you can't just explain your intro in like 2 sentences? I say, well, I'm not good. It's not my style, not my forte. My forte is forte, of course. And, it's just not something I'm good at. And it's not conducive to this style of sleep podcast, because this is a style of sleep podcast that never gets started and is always running. But the real reason the intro goes on and on and on is for most listeners, it's a part of their wind down routine, whether they're getting ready for bed, they're doing some sort of mundane or chilled out activity, or they're in bed. The intro is not the podcast proper, though for some listeners it is. Some people fall asleep during the intro, but it's like a lead-in, a long lead-in, because you got your daytime, you got your pre-bedtime, then you have your wind-down intro time. Because at least for me, I don't just fall asleep. It takes some prep and some winding down. And also, just to be honest, like the intro is kind of supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Usually it's not ridden with apologies, but even these apologies are fun. Where else do you get to where else do I get to put my humanity on display? I mean, these, like you see, that's like a most mundane pieces of humanity I've ever seen. And I say, yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to glamour. Hollywood does not give glamour to those parts of us where you say, probably should be doing this later. I mean, I'm sure some person's like, you got to mow the lawn in a week or two. And maybe you drift in and out of like thinking about mowing the lawn. Maybe you're going to do a new technique. You say, I'm going to go from mowing vertically to horizontally. Maybe I'll start mowing on, maybe I'm going to give up the whole XY axis. And I say, go for it. I say, try it out. Grass will probably grow back, maybe. But someone else might have some other opinion about it. That's the only thing. But, you do some stripes. Your kids will at least get a kick out of it. So, what was my point? The intro goes on and on and on. Yes, it does, because I get a lot of people that say that in a strong way. And I say, yeah, it goes on and on and on. It's here for you. It is a show within a show. It's not part of the housekeeping or anything. It's part of the house sleeping. Housekeeping. This is house sleeping. Say, Scoots, that doesn't make any sense, but it does. And I say, yeah, that's the key to sleep with me. So that's the intro. Then there's business. Again, that's how the podcast comes out twice a week for free. And that business is key to that happening. Then there's our story proper, where tonight it'll be a little bit of an autumnal, it'll be a Halloween costume themed episode, where we're going to look back at some 1980s and earlier Halloween costumes, some catalogs and some history. So that'll be fun. And oh boy, if you can't sleep, you're in for a treat, really, because there's some misspellings in there that really cracked me up. I can't remember them now. I'd like to tell you, is it okay if I spoil things for you? Because I honestly don't know. I thought Darth Vader was Vader. In the costume catalog, they spelled it Vadar. Now, it makes sense later on when you hear the history of the costume company, because they were getting things to market before they knew they'd be popular. There was also, I think, Yoda they called Yaga or something. Or Yoder. And there was one or two other ones. This was pre-Ewoks, too. So I don't know if they would have spelled the Ewoks. Oh, Boba Fett. That was the one. I can't remember Yoder. Maybe it was Yoder or Yolo. It wasn't YOLO. But they definitely said Boba Fett. And I said, yeah, that's who raised Boba Fett. Good old Boba Fett. I remember reading that book as a child. That's who Baby Oso needs, is a little Boba Fett. You could go live with her for a while, out in her cottage, in in the Outer Rim, probably. I mean, talk about a useful place. She probably knew more than Yoda did. Boba Fett. Anyway, I got to get back to the sleep podcast I make. So the intro goes on and on and on. Then there's the story. No, then there's business. And then there's the story. Tonight it'll be kind of a historical catalog look type episode. And then at the end of the show, our thank you. So it's the structure of the show. That's why I make the show. Hundreds of thousands of people said, give it a few tries. It takes a little while to get used to. So I'm just telling you that to try to say, oh, okay, let me just see how it goes. But if it doesn't work, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank yous there for you. But I'm glad you're here. I work really hard. I yearn and I strive. And I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways I'm able to be here for you free twice a week. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match are limited by state law. Not available in all states. All right, everybody, this is Scooter here, and this is going to be a little bit different episode. It's a combination of a couple styles. And so because of the season of, I guess we can say Halloween season, and when kids dress up in costumes, and I did want to look back. I know I did an episode like costumes of my youth or something like that. That was a personal essay style episode a few years ago. I probably did some research at some point about, it seems like there was just this one company that made the majority of costumes of this one style of costume that was the main go-to other than homemade costumes, at least in my mind, in my memory. And it did become this weird sort of self-perpetuating thing. I mean, I think that there was the convenience of, so this would be costumes that kids would wear from age 3 to age, I don't even know, 12, 13. If you didn't have a homemade costume or you made one yourselves. And I kind of talked about, my mom, like there were years where my mom would make a costume. And then there was years when I got into maybe 6th grade or 5th grade was the first time I made my own costume. But in between those years, you would wear one of these plastic. It came with a very cheap plastic mask and then a vinyl kind of apron. So we're going to read a little bit about that, look at a couple of catalogs, and take a look. So the first thing I'm going to look through is an article from 2017, 10/29/2017 by Charlie Moss. It was published on Thrillist.com. And it's I'll be paraphrasing, and it's an interesting, bizarre story behind those old school string Halloween masks. And they interviewed John James Miller, a costume historian and child of the 70s who grew up loving those nighttime strolls. His 3 favorite costumes were C-3PO, that's hard for a dyslexic, Spider-Man, and 2 DC, one Marvel and 1 DC superhero whose names can't be spoken in a sleep podcast, I just realized. And as I said, they came with they were sleeveless vinyl smocks and the plastic masks that fit over the face with a single thin rubber band. At some point, they went from a rubber band, though, to like and I'm remembering like it would get caught in your hair and stuff. But it went from a rubber band to like a elastic with some sort of material. They vaguely represented the characters, and I loved them. They were all from the Ben Cooper Costume Company. And for 3 decades, from the 50s to the late 80s, They provided all the pop culture icons, and they had an uncanny ability to predict what was going to be popular. And it became, Ben Cooper Incorporated became synonymous with Halloween, a trendsetter for kids looking for something more than just a generic. I think it also kind of is interesting how, I guess in some sense it shows the positivity of play. Because when you think about when a real, like even a poorly made home costume would have looked better than one of these, but one, because it was popular, but also because of the suspension of disbelief. And in some healthy way, I think, like whatever your costume, joining in the sense of community play, it didn't really matter. I don't know. I guess it goes both ways. Like everything in life, it's a gray area. But it was inexpensive, fostered children's imaginations. There you go. And as more adults began taking part in more elaborate costumes, they couldn't compete with this more child-focused model. Oh, it was also on a podcast episode, it looks like. It was founded in 1937, originally Vaudeville and Masquerade Company, founded by Ben and Nat Cooper, two siblings in the Garment District. Let's see. Ira, Nat's son, worked with his father and was an outside salesman from 76 to 80. Now is an English, at the time of this article, an English school teacher in New Mexico. The company Ben Cooper Inc. went after was Walt Disney in the 30s and the 40s. That was where they got started. It's interesting, just like Nintendo did those cards. Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Mickey Mouse. And then once they had them, they were able to license other emerging characters from radio at first. And as the company's catalog expanded, so did Ben and Ira's imagination, trying to innovate. They came up with different, their own IP stuff and interventions. The 70s, it became... They took advantage of popularity of Marvel and DC, Hanna-Barbera, then Star Wars. And it says, this is a quote, they were always right ahead of the trends, and it still boggles me how they were able to allocate resources and effort on something that was not guaranteed it was going to pop up by Halloween. But they got the Star Wars license before anybody else. While they, the deal with the Kenner Toy Company was legendary, the costume rights were easier to negotiate because it was before cosplay and high-end memorabilia. They would begin production of stuff 8 to 10 months beforehand. That meant anticipating the excitement around something like Star Wars. But they were already 40 years old at that point, their company. But they were ready while Kenner was not for the demand of the 1977 holiday season. But they weren't laughing because of the flood of money coming in. Iris says at the time, the company had no idea how it's going to meet demand. When you're in a rush to pursue something timely, you don't necessarily increase your profits by increasing the volume. You have to be, you have to have experienced crews. And then in the 80s, some people, there was a kind of change in trick-or-treating versus home parties, and then that slowly changed to more adults celebrating Halloween. And that's where, people wanted a high-quality cloth costumes. Well, Ben Cooper Inc. did have cloth coupons, not cloth coupons, cloth costumes. Cloth coupons, good for one Santa Claus. It proved to be too expensive and too complicated for the company to handle. Unlike their inexpensive boxed costumes sold at toy stores and seasonal department stores, pricier cloth costumes were sold on hangers, which took up more room, meant less room for merchandise, and required customers to try them on. Yeah, that was the other thing. These were all one-size-fits-all, or maybe they came in small, medium, and large. We'll find out as we dig into the catalogs. 30 years later, the shift that took place in the 80s has ultimately helped them because Halloween isn't for kids anymore. Miller and Ira using that to their advantage. Together with Ira's daughter, Shafira, they're resurrecting it. They acquired the brand back. And, I guess they're capitalizing on nostalgia. Yeah, it looks like, this is an exhibit at a museum. But yeah, people are selling them on eBay a lot. And, I guess they have a new merchandise. So anyway, that was one article. Let's just see what Wikipedia has to say about it. Ben Cooper Inc. Yeah, started in 1937, defunct in 1992. Yeah, they show kind of the corporate history, which we covered, let's see, 1940s, 1970s and 80s. And then, then the 80s kind of, a lot of stuff changed. Increasing sales in the 80s were not enough, though, to stave off the decline of the business. Collectability, they do remain collectible boxed costumes with the box the most. So that's the Wikipedia. And I have downloaded some other ones here. I guess let's start with the 1986 or 80. Oh, no, that's not a Ben Cooper one. Let's start with... some of these are from plaidstallions.com, which I used for stuff, and then I have a couple other ones. Okay, we got a 68, a 70s. Let's start with this one. Okay, this is from, 1980. So it opens, it's got a real picture on the cover. It says Ben Cooper, #1 with copyright, costumes, ponchos, masks, over-the-head rubber, and even ones, that have stuff that looks like hair. Has the address for their office and factory. And it has like a kind of, on the front it has a famous Halloween character. Then on the first page of the catalog, it says Halloween 1980, #1 sales traffic builders. It has a cartoon drawing of kids, so not real kids. They're not exactly realistic, but the kids all look like they're dancing. Or the kid in the middle looks like he's dancing, and the kid on the right does. But the kid on the left is faking being well, I guess it makes sense why they don't have, because these drawings of kids are one size fits all. And then you don't see that the kids are behind the mask. So the first one is Superman, big superhero. Then Hulk, TV superhero. So this was, I guess, when the Hulk TV show was on. And the Hulk was wearing purple pants. A lot of times, because the mask didn't make sense, they also have a picture. Like the Superman character looks like Superman's outfit. Though it always had like gaiters like around the calf to the floor, like we say, I don't know, because you just wear your regular shoes. But the Superman does have it kind of looks like blue jeans more than a Superman outfit. But then the Hulk has purple pants like the Hulk would wear, but the Hulk had purple shorts. But purple jeans, I don't know if Bruce Banner wore purple jeans. And then purple jeans in the Purple Rain. But it has a picture of the Hulk on the shirt. And then the other one is Darth Vader. And so it has a picture of Darth Vader. It says Star Wars. And then black pants. Darth Vader does have a cape. So does Superman. All are short-sleeved. I don't know. Is that spelled right? Darth Vadar. Darthvadar. I thought it was Darth Vader. But what do I know? Then page 2, we have... Wow. Page 2 is interesting. Page 3, exclusively ours. #1 characters kids love. The first one is an interesting, famous Halloween person, but they have some curly hair, kind of like a perm, And then their name on the shirt, like they say, oh, yeah, I sing the song Transylvania 65000. And then they have purple pants as well. Then we have one with a dress. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess it's a smock, a strawberry shortcake. My sister may have had this one. Maybe not in 1980 because she wouldn't have been in the costume yet. No, I guess she would have been 4. But it has a strawberry shortcake. Like this one's not a close of a strawberry shortcake though. She has her cat, some strawberries, and she's kind of digging through a strawberry briar. And then the Mickey Mouse, it's in quotes. It says world famous. And Mickey has his hands up like a surprise, but he has like eyes that look like he's trying to hypnotize you. It's not a very good look, I'll be honest. And Mickey has, for some reason, a checkered vest, like you would see, kind of like a checkered cab, yellow and black checks, red pants, but then underneath the vest and a bow tie that says Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse below it in a red pants and a checkered vest. So, I don't know. Okay, then sales power for our number one superheroes. And so this one has 3 superheroes. None of them have their pictures on their shirts or their chests. I definitely had the third one, either my brother or I had, because it's very silvery, so we'll get to it. But the first one is... our friend, that the hero of the webs, web hero, and I think that says TV superhero. So I think that was when it wasn't our web friend on a show like on Electric Company or something. So I don't know if that was it. Then we have Wonder Woman, TV superheroine. And her outfit looks, except they still have the same jeans with the red lower section of the pants. And then they have Robin's sidekick, Bruce Wayne, but his outfit is from not even like the one on the TV show. It's silvery. I remember it was silvery instead of gray. He has a cape as well. Robin's sidekick. And I don't know. I think either my brother or I had that one. Okay, next, now we go to not color anymore in the catalog. We're the first in promotional all vinyl Tiny Tot costumes. They have, is it Casper or some non-branded Casper? Oh boy, and then another one, a bit like Lady Witchbeard. Maybe somebody in my family had that one. They had 1,001 box assortment and then a hanger form assortment. This is 48 pieces of boxed assortment. Oh, this is probably a pretty good deal. I wish they had the pricing, the wholesale pricing. But let's read this. If you get the 48-piece boxed assortment or a 24-piece hanger assortment, a popular economy promotional line of costumes, traffic builder, you won't be undersold. These are designed by Ben Cooper experts in smart, bright colors. Vinyl costumes are vivid colored, heat sealed for durability, windproof, waterproof, full face Duro vinyl masks, a 2-piece window box, or on hanger forms. Tiny Tot sizes are 3 to 5. So these are costumes for 3 to 5-year-olds, or sizes 3 to 5. There's also a bunny, who in the cartoon is dancing, a little fairy who looks more like a princess because she has on some sort of robe. A kitty cat, who's the kid is doing a kitty cat, and then a CLO to the WN. Okay, page 2 has another assortment set. This is probably different sizes, though. And it has, these are so it has another Casper look-alike, another different style costume of singer of Transylvania 65000. a Frankie who's dancing. That one looks kind of cool. And yeah, this is a 1201 boxed assortment, or you can get the hanger one. Budget lines, same thing. You get them in small 4 to 6, medium 8 to 10, or large 12 to 14. And that also came with the CLOWN. What is that one? I wish it wasn't covered up. There's a Lady Witchbeard type style one. There's somebody that looks like they worked with Get Bezos back when they ran that startup under the, in the Middle Earth. Okay, and then the next page is we're the number one biggest in copyright Halloween costumes, most famous television and comic strip heroes that kids know. And kids love 52 weeks a year. Oh, they have a Doctor Strange. Wow, they were so far out of their time. The Thing from the Final Four, what do you call that? The Fabulous Four, Fantastic Four. Captain America. And then my brother had this one right next to Captain America. It was a really great one. Really bright colors. That was Captain America's nemesis, who then had to work on that weird planet in one of the Avengers movies. Let's see. All these assortments are 36 pieces. So you'd buy a set of them. That's pretty smart, though. Full face, masks, heat durability, self-selling promotional box, different sizes. And I think it's Doctor Strange. I mean, talk about, holy cow, no wonder the stuff's worth money. Then they have a page of, I guess, more. So they have a Disco Dazzler. I don't know if that was a show. It looks like it was some sort of IP. Then they have a Woman of the Web, it says. Somebody else, I can't tell what they're doing. Oh, Ponch and John, I think, from Chips. Maybe. And then the Lone Ranger. Then we got another page. Yogi Bear. Carrie from Little House on the Prairie. Raggedy Ann. This is interesting. Some of the stuff, it doesn't make any sense. So Raggedy Ann does not look comforting to me. But she has on what looks like a dress, and it says Raggedy Ann, has her picture. Then Yogi Bear has the cartoon child is touching the bow tie. It has a bow tie, or maybe it's a collar. Then a tie with a picture of Yogi Bear on it. Then Carrie, Little House on the Prairie, has a dress with the pictures of the other family members of Little House on the Prairie, and something that says Carrie from Little House on the Prairie on there. So you don't have to, that's pretty smart in some sense, because if people don't know who you are, then it says it on there. Then it just says Flintstone. And again, this one is not comforting, but then it says, it looks like the picture on the chest of the child, it says Fred Flintstone. But Fred looks like he had way too many ales at whatever the Moose Lodge, 5,000 ales. Then a famous bozo. And then it says Tom and Jerry, but it's just Tom. And he's doing a cat dance. Bozo's doing some sort of dance. So a lot of fun people having these drawings. And then they say, Super Tots, ours alone. So they do have Jerry on this page, but it just says Tom and Jerry. Then another bozo, Cinderella, Minnie Mouse, another Raggedy Ann. These are the Super Tots collection. Superboy, Donald Duck. Holy moly. I'm surprised Disney must not have. This is you should look up this Donald Duck, because it does not look like a duck. And it does looks like, I guess, what Donald is, if I imagine what Donald's inside life is like, this mask of Donald the Duck looks like that. Oh, cool. Now we get into another page here. This is another assortment. Tinkerbell, Snow White, Cinderella. So Tinkerbell does look cool, just not like a Tinkerbell. She looks kind of like more like a forest sprite. You say Scoots Tinkerbell is a forest sprite. I say, okay, well, this costume then portrays her in a way. Vincent from Black Hole, which was like BB-8 before BB-8 was even a twinkle in R2-D2's eye. Vincent from a Black Hole. Then another Donald Duck who has a star-spangled vest on, and then Donald Duck on the chest. And that one does not look like Donald Duck either. It kind of looks like some sort of it looks like something out of a Simpsons, like where it's like some duck like Donald that's been out too late. And then they have Mickey Mouse. I'm not kidding. The Mickey Mouse in this catalog has a 5 o'clock shadow. And it has kind of a sorcerer's Mickey on the chest, and it's waving. All of the two princesses, Snow White and Cinderella, are doing the princess wave. And then they have their first, characters with hair. My brother had one of these with hair. I don't remember which one is. Bigfoot, Puppy Pal, and then a Transylvania male and female. Transylvanian male and females with hair. This was a 24-piece assortment. For Scaredy Cats, it says, and those all come with hair. For Monster Prophets, it says, oh boy, here's some other cool ones. King Kong, Godzilla, though Godzilla's wearing pants, and King Kong, and Frankie. It's interesting that they're on the pages together. That'd be pretty cool if, like, one of the Godzillas had a full size, like a 40 or 400-foot Frankie. Godzilla's actually spewing, Godzilla's spewing fire, but say technically that's not correct. Oh my gosh, we're getting into more stuff here. So then they have Buck Rogers. This is all before my time, or a lot of it is. Then Robin's sidekick, the Web Buddy, Hulk, Mork from Mork and Mindy. And then some sort of Superman. There must have been a Superman reboot or something. This is in black and white, but it's a blonde Superman, it looks like. Oh, and according to Plaid Stallion pointed out that Mork is doing a Vulcan hello. Then we have another web person. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some of these, how I can say them. Supergirl, Wonder Woman, super selling heroines, Annie. That's pretty cool. Strawberry Shortcake. And then someone that you'd expect with Robin. And she had a motorcycle, I think, on that show. Nobody's sidekick, she would say. Plastic Man. Now, I remember seeing that show. I don't know if it was an add-on cartoon. Micronaut. Never heard of Micronaut. Isis. Like one of the Egyptian goddesses. Oh, yeah, it says, according to Plaid Stallions, Isis and Plastic Man were still stars in the 1980s, while Holly Hobby and Biotron were stars of the... So there's Holly Hobby. Never heard of Micronaut or Isis. I mean, and not in a fictional form. Then we have Tiny Tot Superheroes. This is funny because it's Tiny Tot Superheroes. So they have Superman, Wonder Woman, Hulk, R2-D2. And R2-D2 on this one looks like they just put a trash can. I think they probably changed around that mask, or it's not. And then a couple of the other ones. And then back for 1980, Star Wars. It's and it has half of the thing from. It says Empire Strike Back. Star Wars heroes return in science fiction's giant runaway best-selling costumes. And they have C-3PO, R2-D2, who looks R2-D2's thing looks like I don't know, it's reminding me of something from some other piece of fiction. and Yaddo. And this one, it says Yaddo. So this is like what they think said. They were trying to stay ahead of things. And I'm also not making it up. Yaddo. Good old Yaddo. And they have Chewbacca, Darth Vader, a trooper, and Baba. Does that say Boba Fett? It does. It says Boba Fett here. Good old Boba Fett. What do we think about that now? We now have Star Wars Most Wanted costumes. Yeah, so that's interesting. Boba Fett and Yada. Can't make this up. Oh, Sesame Street. You have Big Bird, and Big Bird does have striped Ernie. Again, some of these just look like somebody stayed up. Whoever drew these must have been drawing them in the 60s and the 70s, or still like living in that era. Because there is a sense, but I guess this wasn't marketing material. This is for stores that were buying it wasn't for consumers. So I guess it's maybe it was supposed to be more fun. And the Count, Cookie Monster. I remember somebody having a Cookie Monster, Grover, and the Grouch. Not Oscar, just the Grouch. But it does say Oscar the Grouch and Cookie Monster on their things. You say, what is that? But Cookie Monster, my brother Ted was Cookie Monster. He had one of those costumes. And probably not till like 83 or 84, at least. Then more copyright exclusives, kind of the same ones. The other, some alternative Superman that we've seen. And then these ones are ponchos, mean big sales on our copyright exclusives. So I guess if this is raining or something, they have Hulk, Mickey Mouse poncho, and you could get a rack or hanger for them. They had an 8 dozen rack, came with a dozen Hulk, a dozen Mickey Mouse, a dozen of Robin's sidekick, 1 dozen Darth Vader. I mean, I could be spelling that wrong, but I think it's Vader. This is Vadar. Frankie, Transylvania 65000, Superman, Web Buddy, a dozen of all of those vinyl ponchos that can be worn all year long as playwear. And some come with a mask and hood. All ponchos are waterproof, and they're made from vinyl. And there's more here. Some sort of Transylvania, Frankie. Those are the 1900 poncho pack. Holly Hobby got a poncho. Darth Vader. Superman. A couple other heroes whose names we won't say. Oh, and then add-ons. They had different figures you could buy. What are these? Ben Cooper superhero exclusive TV hero favorites. I don't know. Are these action figures? Realistic hand detailed action figure on a string. Seen 52 weeks a year on TV. Comes in display box. So I don't know if that's a costume or what, or a toy. Then they have Super Birds on their own string. Wiggly figures kids love. This Halloween, the Super Birds are coming, and they fly on their own string. Oh, maybe these were decorations. They had other ones. Realistic, lifelike jiggle and wiggle on a string. Yeah, they have Transylvania 65000. Oh, Doctor Strange. Captain America's Nemesis, The Thing, soft vinyl action figures that are exclusively ours and jiggle and wiggle on a string. Okay, then we get into other add-on things in blister packs, specs. So they had different kinds of disguise glasses. Neither one of these looks like Groucho Marx, though. And these are both already priced at $1. And then a 2-in-1 disguise kit with a beard or a mustache, a masquerade kit. Oh, I lost my page there. which had, I think I bought one of these one time. You could be a pirate, you could have teeth, you could have nails, then style it yourself, long hair wig, or 1 yard of hair disguise kit. More popular disguise kits. I definitely bought one of these different sets of teeth with fake fingernails, glasses, popular half masks, Ben Cooper trick-or-treat bags. That's, I guess, an easy add-on or a giveaway. Super Friends, a trick-or-treat with Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and Snow White's nemesis. And then the Flintstones. Wait, was that dog the Flintstones dog? Oh, no, it's Hanna-Barbera, because they see Yogi Bear, Fred Flintstone, and then the Jetsons dog. Then some more masks. I don't know if it's a recap or this you could just buy masks only, but they had Mickey. These is actually pictures of the masks. Mickey, not sure who that is. Some Marvel super heroine. Captain America, The Thing. Maybe no one wanted to be any other member of the Fantastic Four. Jerry, Tweety Bird maybe, or some sort of bird, Roadrunner. I don't know who that is. Donald Duck and Raggedy Ann. Oh, adult hand-sculpted masks. That's what we're looking at. Then they have Vadar. They have a Sand Person, C-3PO, Chewbacca, and just a regular generic trooper. Then they have Galactic Hero. So this is Battlestar Galactica fake-outs. Galactic Hero. So I guess that was the other move. They're like, we'll just make masks. We can either sign a agreement with you or make masks like your characters. I guess they didn't have a deal with Universal because they have a lot of stuff that looks like Universal, but I don't see anything. And then more Wonder Woman. What is that one? Some sort of robot. It's a night Biotron. Then some more with hair. Sculptured masks, man. Ben Cooper's adult with hair. They have different ones, different styles or different things. They could use them for Mardi Gras or teens and adults. Then they have different racks you could put your masks on to sell them. Oh, these were expensive. These have the actual prices, $249 for a 22 and a half dozen rack. No, 1, 2, if it's a dozen. Oh, I guess, but each one holds, and then $214 for a 15 dozen rack, and then $171 for a 12 dozen. Racks are ready, man. Selling. Then they had rubber ones. These are actual pictures. My dad, like I said in that episode, he would buy a new rubber mask every year. That was one of the few indulgences he ever had. He never took us with him, though. It was always a mystery. He would come home a little bit before Halloween with his all picked out. So it's like kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, you have this kind of secret life we're not a part of. So let's pop over to the 1970, what year is this one? 1986 Ben Cooper catalog. This one, it has everything for Halloween. We put it all together. This one, it has actual people, though. I got to get it open here. And I got a 3% battery, so this will be interesting as always. This is all color photos. So let's see. The first page has the tot vinyls. They have Casper, a bunny, a fairy, a cat, ACLOWN, and a lady witchbeard. And then below it, they have like the next size up. And they have it in different orders, so you can't really compare. Oh, I guess the Casper is not real Casper. It's like a, so that must have been what they did. They said, oh, you don't want to advertise with, you don't want us to license your mask? Okay. Then they have, I guess, the next level up or something, because they have another Lady Witchbeard one. Oh, these are half masks. Maybe they're paper masks? I don't know. Head topper, they call them. So they have different ones, Frankie, a fairy, some that are like, you can't even believe. Then they have the ponchos. Poncho would not be a very good costume because you couldn't hear. I don't remember anybody having a poncho costume. And then, let's see what other ones we have here. Oh, some from the comics. This purple comic book character, Punky Brewster. Robotech even, and then Raggedy Ann, some sort of wireless warrior. I don't know. I know I've got a little pixelation. Mr. Potato Head does not look like Mr. Potato Head. Must have briefly had Dottie Dog, Wheeled Warrior. That says. Okay, then. Mickey Mouse, Donald, Tinkerbell, those costumes, I'll be honest, these ones are awful. And Looney Tunes ones. It looks like the Disney also like did something because their masks are not masks, they're drawn on. That's the same. Maybe the masks were just so bad. Oh, then they had ones from He-Man. They had He-Man, He-Man's Nemesis, the magic thing that floated around. I don't know if that was good or bad. Let's see, some other characters who I don't even know. Oh, I think these are He-Man's, maybe those are characters that, like I said, I wasn't a big He-Man, or maybe I never said it yet. I said that in a future episode. These are other He-Man people? I don't know. Masters of the Universe. Then they have another set of hair costumes. Those ones are pretty cool. Like, I would wear one of those now. Woody Woodpecker. Bugs Bunny. What else we got here? So these ones were new. Thundercats, two different Thundercat ones. Voltron. The kid that's playing Voltron, though, his shoulders are slumped. Also one of the Thundercats. Some other ones like that. Mask. Remember there was like a, like kind of like, then, G.I. Joe, Hulk Hogan, She-Ra, so she's still around, She-Ra, G.I. Joe, some sort of, some really interesting, Pound Puppies, Gummy Bears, I loved that show. Flippy Dog, I don't know, but they had two of the Gummy Bears, Cherry and somebody else, they have two little My Little Ponies, a purple one and a yellow one, a couple of Care Bears, somebody else who, Glowworm in a Cabbage Patch. You could go as Glowworm the Goodnight Pal. Popples, I kind of remember that show. Another She-Ra. Probably some sort of She-Ra's rivals. Dream Glow Barbie. So this was their decline. It seems like because they were probably paying out so much in licensing fees. They had Muppet Babies, Baby Kermie, Baby Miss Piggy, Baby Fozzie Bear. They had some plush costumes. Then they have Fraggle Rock, Dozer, and then a couple other of the Fraggle Rocks. You got Sesame Street. This time Grover's dressed up like a cowboy. For some reason, Oscar the Grouch has a bowl cut. I don't remember him. I guess I do. I don't know. Cookie Monster looks good. No Bert. How come nobody wanted to be Bert? Then we had more pajama costumes. That might be good to put your kid right to bed. Those are kind of generic. Teddy bear, a bunny, a tiger. The heck is that one? Popple? Another glowworm. Muppet Baby Kermit, that's a winner. Then, yeah, they were getting into fabric costumes like that article said. Oh, and then they even have adult ones, which are all kind of ridiculous. And no wonder, it's like being a child of the 80s. You say, okay, well, yeah. This is the environment we were raised in. They have makeup, they have dress-up sets for all ages. They came in plastic bags. Some like, one-piece suits, different capes, and yeah, different like makeup kits. I remember when this got popular. Then you could get some wigs, like kind of like we covered it, and then the over-the-head rubber masks. Punkies, the punkies. So they have different ones, carnival style ones, Mardi Gras style ones, topper, comic opera ones, fantastique over the head, long plush hair. Ones with hair there. Hats, sateen fabric and giant hats, derby hats. The guy modeling the hats really put a lot of work in. He's making a lot of different faces. Hopefully he found work after this. This is worth it. I'm not even kidding. I love this. I have a new hero. Maybe I should have reached out to the guy with pizza at McDonald's and see if we can track this guy down. Okay. You have to look this up. So this is go to plaidstallions.com, 1986, what is this, Ben Hamper or whatever catalog, and then go to like the pages where they have the different hats. So he's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He looks like the guy on Dawson's Creek, or James Bleeker, or what was his name? That's definitely not his name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the actor. He had a show where he played himself recently. I mean, it's not the same person anyway, but so the guy's making faces in every single picture, and he's acing it. Like, he brings joy and amusement to everything. He also looks a little bit like Dominic that was on Lost and was also one of Frodo's people, a little bit like that. And then, yeah, it finishes up with kind of the stuff we saw last time. So, yeah, that's a little bit about, I can't even remember the name of the company, though, the Ben Cooper catalog, and a little Halloween costume journey for you this season. Good night, everybody. Everybody, this is Scoots. This is a tuck you in message about Sleep With Me Plus. And this is a particularly important one. I'm here to tuck you in, and maybe you need another episode of Sleep With Me. Maybe you're listening all night long. But I've recently realized, particularly these post-roll spots, that most people, particularly Sleep With Me, the only reason to be hearing this is if you're an all-night listener, or the show's not like you needed more than one episode, or you break stuff up. But the point is, if you're hearing me, I guess in some sense, I wish podcasts worked even better for you. But really, the secret of the podcast is I'm not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to be your board friend and keep you company. And, we usually run spots for Sleep With Me Plus at the beginning of the show, and then in spots at the end of the show and in the middle of the show, where we wouldn't have a tuck you in sponsor. We don't have a sponsor in the middle of the show. And, we've been narrowing down who I'm trying to get the message to about supporting the podcast, right? Because it used to be like kind of like a checklist, or I thought we had it checked all the way in. Do you listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis? Is it positively impacted your life? Are you in a position where you could afford to support the show? And would you feel good about supporting the show? I mean, do you want the bonus content, but do you feel like you're a part of something? And do you have positive feelings associated with Sleep With Me? And it was always that thing of like, okay, if it's yes, yes, and yes, then those are the people I need to get the message to. But I didn't realize until we switched other stuff up in order to keep the show sustainable that most people aren't actually hearing or listening to me either. So even the people that those are all yes, 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 yes. I've heard from recently people that were like, man, if you needed my support, Scoots, you should have let me know. And I was like, okay, well, okay. I was, but you weren't hearing me because, yeah, you're getting ready for bed or you're not paying attention or you're sleeping or you're drifting off, which is kind of part of the show, but it kind of is entangled in this thing of like still being able to make the show and everything that goes into producing the show. And a lot of people like, and that's totally fine. If you don't want to think about this stuff or it's not important to you or you're not really normally paying attention, what it really comes down to is me getting that message to the one person who is paying attention and listening and hearing me, and all those other things are yes. Like, so that's who I'm trying to get the message to. And I don't know if that's you. Like, are you the one that nodded yes to all those questions? And you're like, yeah, this podcast has positively impacted my life. Yeah, I listen to it on a regular basis. Yeah, it makes me feel good. Yes, it makes me feel less alone. Yes, it works when most other stuff hasn't. Yeah, I love Sleep With Me. I love how it makes me feel. Yeah, I can afford to support the show. And yeah, I'm going to do it right now and go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Yeah, tonight's Scoots, it didn't work. Or tonight I needed a few episodes. Or I just happened across this message. But if it's all yes, I need you to say yes too with your actions, right? And that's what keeps the show going, particularly right now. We're really I'm in need of you and really focusing on you that said yes to everything. And you're like, me? And I'm like, yeah, you. Yeah, really. If you believe all those things to be true, can you support the show at Sleep With Me Plus? You'll get access to an amazing platform built on how you listen, tons of bonus content, tons of amazing stuff. But I've learned over the years that's not why people support the show. They support the show because they said yes, 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 yes. Yes, this show means something to me. Yeah, I know how it impacts my life. It makes my life better. It makes my day better. Makes my night better. I know it makes other people's lives better too. And here's the other thing that's kind of cool is like you can support the show. You won't hear these sponsor spots because you'll get an ad-free feed. But you could rest easy not hearing those spots because you're paying for the peace of mind the podcast provides you. But what's interesting is like that peace of mind comes for like hundreds of other people, thousands of other downloads every single month that you support the show, so that those people don't have to listen either. Your actions are the one that make that possible. So if any of that's yes, go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now. And I realize I'm asking a lot. Sign up and then set up the bonus content tomorrow. Or you could send yourself a text or a reminder or put something on your floor so when you get out of bed tomorrow, you do it. And sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks.